this is
Hi,
Srujana.
this is Srujana.
So I'm a film editor working in Hyderabad. And about my past, I'm actually from an engineering background, but my true calling is films, I feel. So I've studied for 3 years in Film Institute Pune in Hyderabad. Sorry, in Pune, India, and then worked under Mr. Sreekar Prasad, who is a renowned film editor in Chennai, and currently working in Hyderabad.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us here today. Can you please tell us what about film editing and like the movie industry made, like, why was it your calling?
Okay, so I have to go a little bit behind. When I was a kid, like watching in theaters, watching films in theaters is like the most excited thing for me. So every time I go to a theater to watch a film, so when the 3 hours are getting completed, I used to be so upset that I have to come back, go to school, do my academics and all that. So it was actually being a movie buff initially. So as I grew and I have to choose a career, so the films always, I felt like I want to know about this world, which I like so much, which I get immersed so much. Even if I go and study films or teach films, I was okay with it. But I wanted to be in films. But like many of us, like we are not aware of many paths. So I continued my engineering education for a long time. But it's the experience what a film gives that has pulled me into films.
Did you have one specific movie that really made you want to get into film?
I won't say it is the film, but I watched a film called 12 Angry Men. So when I watched it, so majorly I've grown up with watching Telugu film where it's very action oriented, 2 songs, 3 fights and very melodrama and stuff like that. But when I watched 12 Angry Men, I was like, this is a very different kind of film. It happens in a room with so much of intense drama, for whoever who knows about that film. So I was like, what are these films? Like, how are these made? Like, how am I hooked for this such a long time with no drama, with just, it's a courtroom drama, basically, 12 Angry Men is. So that one film made me explore many other films, how vast filmmaking is, how vast the films are. So I'll say that's one crucial film for me.
That's so interesting to hear about. It's definitely great to see something new, and it can help us find new perspectives or get drawn into something new. So
we saw in your bio that you also had some education in electrical engineering. How is the transition from that education to education in filmmaking?
Okay, so typically I've done my undergrad in India for 4 years and then electrical engineering in US for 2 years. So when I was doing, so what happens is the world of films is very different. Like it's not the conventional path generally to, I didn't know where to go, how to go about it. No film people around my family or anything like that. But when I was in US, I was a TA there. So I used to teach my undergrads, where I have seen that a 40 to 50 years person I'm teaching a 40 to 50-year-old person electrical engineering. And in the same classroom, I had a father studying engineering, and I know a daughter who is doing pottery in the same university. Doing pottery as a course itself is very new to me. From where I've come from. So this experience and this is one example I'm saying, but studying there and seeing the sense of time, like you have to complete by 22 or 23, get a job and all that, and what kind of education, the safety net, all those broke when I was there in 2 years in US. So that is when I've decided like if this is really I want to do, this is my only chance, only life, so I want to try it. So that is it.
That's amazing that you found a way, you had like the realization that you had to change like at the moment. So even though you changed, I was wondering if any of your electrical engineering skills carried over to help you in your editing field.
Okay, directly if you ask me, absolutely no. But what happens is when you have a formal education, it will give you the confidence to try. So all the time I was able to convince people, and I was like, I have a degree. So whatever happens for a certain period of time, maybe I can go back, or if something miserably fails, maybe I'll go into teaching because I have a post-grad degree, and maybe enroll for a PhD. So for a very long period of time, till everything was very uncertain, this helped me like a safety net in my head. That is all.
It's actually really relatable. I feel like a lot of people think that they have to get some sort of like, how do you say it, standard degree first before they go off into whatever they want to do. So that's just like a really relatable thing to hear.
Okay, so we're gonna go into like what it means to actually be a movie editor. So what does your day-to-day life look like as a movie editor?
Okay, so this field, movie editing, you won't have a fixed timing. Like if you ask me day-to-day thing, I have to start with this because I won't have like a 9 to 5 day or 10 to 6 day. So when a film is going on, when I have the rush or when I have the material to work on, so I keep working on it in whatever time frame I have. Then again, like when the movie is closer to the release, it will be like 24/7. You have to be onto it. When there is little schedule gaps or a movie release, then for a period of time there might not be much of the work. But yeah, this is how it will be planning wise, like how it happens.
So, as an editor, you probably have a ton of things to do every day. So, what are some of those tasks that you face every day?
Okay, so whenever the film has gone for the shoot, these days what happens is there are two ways editing can happen. So one will be like entire film is done, they give you the rush. That used to be the format, but what majorly happens these days is like you have a 1 week of schedule, we get the rush, they provide us the material. So what you say, they don't provide the original raw data because it's extremely heavy, so we get the proxies. They call it proxies, the converted HD versions, which we work in the edit. So once we get that, the initial part of it is like you have to sort it in the sense scene wise based on the script. They have scene numbers, take numbers, shot numbers. So you rename it and you organize because there is a huge amount of footage. So if you organizing is a very integral and very crucial part of editing. So you take up a project in your software and you organize everything, and once you do that, you go scene by scene, like based on what they have shot. You start editing the scenes. So this happens schedule by schedule. So once entire shooting is done, that's when you create the first half, the second half, like you combine all the scenes and then work on the flow of it. So this is like overall the editing pattern.
What techniques help you find the flow of the movie scenes? Like, like help keep it moving and help it stay on point.
Okay, to get the flow of it, there are various factors. One is the rhythm of acting, the rhythm of the way camera moves, the rhythm with what the dialogues have been said. All these together build the flow of it. So within a scene, it will be the flow will be generally set with because it will be planned and shot like that. So managing all these, we set the flow for the scene, and then scene to scene, you work with the flow of it. Like, is it flowing, or suddenly the other scene, if it feels rushed in the edit, how do you set it right? But majorly, to answer your question, it's the combination of all these and the edit also. So noticing all these, maintaining it, balancing it, gives the flow to the edit.
How do you see the vision as you're working? Since I know editors usually work with smaller clips.
Okay, so the first process of it is, it's not that I get to see only the rush when I get it. We get involved from the scripting stage, in the sense we read the script. Reading the script is an integral and like must do process. So we read the script, have the discussion with the director, and we work on the transition at times. And in the scripting stage itself, when we are reading it, we have this discussion like how are the character flow, character arcs going, or the transition smooth, or is there something little repetitive. Is it something little deviant? So all these happen. So because we do that, when we work on individual scenes, you will be able to have an understanding of what this scene means, just beyond this scene, like does it have a payoff, or where is it going to come again, or what is the importance, on whom I should hold or why I should hold. So and the layers of it and all that.
You said you work with the movie director at the beginning of the process. What other careers or professions do you work with throughout the whole editing process?
Okay. So majorly till the edit is completed, we'll be with the director. The major interaction will be with the director. But after that, you will have interaction with the sound designer and the music person, background score also. Because for many times, as the scene demands, we'll place little important sounds. We'll be placing reference musics. And there are many cuts which are transitions which are sound motivated. So we do all these. So when we do all these, there arises a situation where we have to explain this to the sound designer that look, this is what we thought of doing with the director. So that's the reason we have used like that. See how you can accentuate it. So we do that, but that information. So majorly that information can go via the editor, or it can go even through the assistant directors.
How many movie editors are usually involved in the process to edit a whole movie?
Film editor is just one. Like film editor, you have one editor, you have an associate editor, you have an assistant editor. That is it.
So we see that even with our 45-minute interviews and one camera, it takes a long time to edit. So when you have 3-hour movies and multiple cameras, and you have to start from like looking at the script, how do you increase the productivity of this time you spend editing?
Look, as you keep working, I think you can work like within a scene, you can work faster, but edit is absolutely iterative. I don't think you can cut down on the amount of time, because there are many people involved in filmmaking. So I do a version, then director will have inputs, the team will have inputs, producer will have inputs. Sometimes we have reference, just previews to have an idea, they'll have inputs. So editing is absolutely iterative and you can't escape that.
So with these extensive hours and how much time you have to spend on editing, how do you maintain a proper work-life balance?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. I'm still trying to figure out the work-life balance. So for a okay, yeah, I'm actually trying to figure out. It's very difficult to have a work-life balance because okay, when the starting stage of a film, it's absolutely fine. So generally, you work from your place, till the first cut has arrived, like entire shoot is done, and you have a version. An editor will have a version from their own, and you sit with the director. Till then, it's absolutely fine, and then you can manage. But once there is a movie release, it's beyond your control, because you have a deadline, you have things to meet. There is so much of pressure. So during a movie release, it's very hectic. Apart from the corporate world, how it functions, the film field is very what do you say, unplanned, like very chaotic. And but with one thing that we are seeing is with the advent of OTTs, where they have a little comparatively corporate structure, they have meetings, they have stuff like that. I hope it will become little more organized. From what I've known from my friends who work in Bombay is little more organized. They have work hours, and as you grow in your career also, you can set the time frames for yourself. So until you're in the upward graph of trying to prove yourself and get somewhere, it's not very easy to balance.
That's definitely applicable to a lot of careers, not just editing. And I feel like a lot of people can really relate to like not having a proper work-life balance. And some interviewees that we've talked to have truly not had an answer because they're so passionate about their job. They don't really see like a work-life separation, and they truly just enjoy what they're doing. So that's really great.
Yeah.
So I know for our interviews we use CapCut, but for your like professional level films, I was wondering what you guys use to edit your movies or films.
Okay, majorly there are two softwares that everyone use. One is Avid Media Composer, and the other is Adobe Premiere Pro. So to support these, we recent days people used to work on Final Cut Pro, but it is not so extensively used at the moment. Once Final Cut Pro 7 was very popular. Now it's Final Cut Pro 10, so the usage is little minimal. And the Davinci Pro is there. People have been using that also, but not for major editing, like you edit music videos or shorter formats. But for films, majorly it's Avid Media Composer and Adobe Premiere Pro.
So there's bound to be some sort of like technical issues or things like that when faced with editing, especially when there's so many things to edit. So how do you deal with these technical issues or like technical difficulties that arise when you're going through all these things?
Half the time it's googling. Like you google, like when some random new error turns up, we just google like what is happening and call up the fellow editors and see like if something new has occurred, like has anyone got it, troubleshooting of it. So it's a trial and error.
Apart from technical issues, what other struggles have you faced during your career that you've had to overcome?
Okay. Even creatively, every film will have its own challenges. Like this kind of like the scene itself is challenging for various number of reasons, or we have to try a newer structure to it, or it has been extensively shot. And like I remember there is a sequence which it's a montage basically, so it has like 4 to 5 minutes of screen space, but they have shot for a couple of hours or stuff like that. So when it's extensively huge, it requires a lot of patience to go about it. So if you ask me what are the hurdles, like you say these as challenges, but it has so much of fun in it, and overcoming itself is also fun. Like when you finish it, you have a level of satisfaction.
That's a really great outlook to have. It would definitely make overcoming challenges so much easier and so much more enjoyable.
True.
So just building off that, what are some specific rewarding moments that you've had in your career so far?
Okay. Okay. So you're asking this on a personal level or as a team level? Both. Okay. Say if a project has come out well, so you get your share of congratulations. It has come out well. You all did a great job. So and so. And within a team, like for example, recently I've done a trailer, so the team is very happy with the trailer, the way it has come out, and so they'll be like, "Arey, you've done a good job." So actually, trailers will have a lot of satisfaction because there is a lot to tell, and you have to think a lot, form a structure, and think like what to tell, what not to tell, and how to tell it very interestingly. So yeah.
Is there one specific movie, trailer, or moment that you can share with us, just to give us an example?
Yeah. There came a Telugu film recently called Parada, which has Anupama Parameshwaran in it. So it's on Amazon Prime, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it was quite a fun and thrill journey for that trailer.
So you mentioned earlier that you first started out going towards a career in engineering. So how exactly did transferring from engineering to film production work out for you? Like, did you have to take some specific courses, or how exactly did you go about switching over?
Okay, so when I wanted to make that shift, so I strongly felt, because in filmmaking, there are absolutely two routes where you can go try assist someone for multiple number of years. But I strongly felt that I wanted to study. So when I was US itself, I tried. There are UCLA and there are universities like that where I thought I should apply or try. But what happens is, for science you have huge number of scholarships, but for films, and you want to start out, it's not so easy. So I thought that I should come back to India. And there are two premier institutes in India, which one is FTII, Film and Television Institute of India, Pune, and the other is SRFTI, Satyajit Film Institute, Kolkata. So there are two government institutes and very reputed institutes. So I thought I should go back and study in one of it. So it took little time. It took multiple years for me to understand the format, and cracking a film school is again a different challenge. Like, you have to know about what are the films. You should be able to write a film summary. You should be able to, there are questions in a certain pattern. So for the first initial year, I didn't get through. So I understood the pattern of the examination, prepared for it, and then cleared the film school. Film school is basically 3 years where you study film editing. So yeah, then I've studied for 3 years in Pune, and yeah.
Are there some benefits that you think you would have had if you started originally in film school? And if so, then what are some sort of like the challenges that came with not having originally started in film school?
Okay, so I don't think you can start direct undergrad with film school, at least in India, because you need to have an undergrad degree which would have been mass comm, and then you venture into films. Okay, if you ask me, the advantages of it, definitely it's super advantageous, because I've known many people, like when they're doing their mass comm itself, they do short films, or the level of knowledge is different. You save many number of years. So what happens, the major thing is time. Like, you have to, I felt the major part of my 20s I've spent in figuring out, trying and doing this, doing that, leaving this, coming there. So if you have done your undergrad in mass comm, I think you have BFA there. But in India, it's majorly mass comm. So you do your undergrad and then study films directly. You will definitely save a large amount of time. But what do you say? Having said this, it's absolutely no regrets, because everyone comes from a certain background, and every experience it adds up, and only then we go somewhere. So if I wouldn't have had this path or come directly to films, I don't know if I would have been intimidated or have the level of knowledge, maturity, and many other things. So I'm very happy for the path that I've taken. But yeah, this is the difference.
When you were first starting out in film school, did you feel any doubt about your path? Did you regret it at all when you were first starting out?
I actually started before even entering film school. There were 2 years when I was in Bombay, because I couldn't get through the film school. I've tried to learn software somewhere, and it was not a very pleasant experience, because everything is not so formulated when you are trying to figure out and stuff like that. So yeah, there have been absolutely moments of doubt, but the thing is that I think I've spent this is in relation also to the previous question. So when you typically if you would have questioned and said that no, I would have directly gone in moments of uncertainty, because we are very young, you might have your doubt and feel that maybe the other path is more better. So because I've traveled that path, I know what education is, or know what my career would have been. I came with a certain level of maturity. So though I have my moments of doubt, I never felt like going back.
So how do you think film editing has evolved, and how do you think it will continue to evolve with the introduction of AI?
Okay, so film editing it used to be on film strips. So from there it has come to digital. So that's one major transition that has happened in terms of film editing. So I've been hearing, even I'm trying to follow up with what is happening in AI and how it might affect editing. So there are software so far that they claim that um, I mean, they could do the basic edit of it, but um, having said that, the question that I keep asking myself, or we fellow editors or the colleagues we keep discussing, is that if when you take films, there is no absolute pattern that how a scene will function. The amount of drama or the kind of treatment for Hollywood films is different. It's very culture specific. So for in India, North Indian films have one kind of treatment, because when, for example, when you take a topic and how you treat the topic depends on what is the emotional connect or the weightage of the topic in that particular area. That's how a scene is designed. So how can a universally created AI will be able to do that and create the emotional impact is the doubt that I have. But this is for the thing that can it overtake the editing and stuff like that. But having said that, the non-creative part of editing, like sorting, keeping the footage properly, or making into bins, and there is syncing, like you have to sync the dialogues and the technical part of it, I think all those will become much more easier.
Your take on that is really interesting, and that point of view, like hearing it, I've never heard anything like people say AI. It's like, oh, they're going to take our jobs. But hearing how like AI won't be able to convey that emotion or take on it is something really like interesting to hear. Okay, so moving on to our final question. After looking back on all of this, would you say movie editing is a career to consider?
Yes, absolutely. Like it requires huge amount of patience, but if you love it, you absolutely love it, because it's like you get it in pieces, and when you see the film that you have constructed, it's like in a very simpler way, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, very complicated jigsaw puzzle, and when you're able to finish it up, the kind of satisfaction is multifold. So if you really like it, you really like it, that's all.
Yes, I definitely agree. Thank you so much for joining us here today and taking your time to answer all of our questions. We learned a lot, and movie editing is definitely a very interesting career. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to add that this is a superb initiative. I would have been very glad if I was a teenager and get to know all this. So thank you.
We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Wow, guys, that was a great interview. Why don't we recap it? What do you guys think you learned from that interview?
I'll start. One of the things that she mentioned was her work is always done in bursts. So sometimes like she won't have a lot of work, sometimes she will have a lot of work. And you know, I just thought that was really interesting, because sometimes I feel like that with my schoolwork. And sometimes it's really hard for her to find a work-life balance, and sometimes it's very easy, and I just think that's
Definitely.
yeah.
I feel like some weeks I have so much work, I have no time to even like eat. Like I'll be on my laptop working and I'll be eating on the side. My mom will just be yelling at me like, "Get off your laptop!" I'm like, I can't. And some weeks I'll have so much time.
Time's done.
Oh, okay.
I really like what she said about like you have one life, live it how you want to. I think we spend a lot of time caring like what are other people gonna think if I take this career that's not so like common and I might not be successful in it, but like it's your life, you only have one of it. There's only like you get to choose what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like, go for the career that you're most passionate about. Go for something that you actually will enjoy doing in your life, and not something that you just do for the sake of other people.
Yeah, I found it really interesting that she turned her childhood passion. Like she said she was a movie buff, and movies were the thing she loved to like watch and do in her free time, her free time watching. So I think it's a key that like maybe your interest as a child indicates what direction you want to go to in your career.
That definitely sounds like really like ideal and like fun to have a career that you truly like love.
And something like one of my teachers had said earlier is that like if you're gonna do something, do what you love, because you spend most of your life in your career or like trying to get to a career, so it's better to just
make it something worthwhile.
Yeah, that also reminds me what you were saying, right?
Yeah, so
That
another thing that was super she was saying having a safety net kind of helped her like find credibility in other people. So saying, oh, I have a safety net, so it's okay if I go do this. But she said that it wasn't ideal for herself to get that degree first and then go and start it. So she was saying, if you truly love something, don't wait for the right opportunity. Don't try and get a safety net first. Go for it. Don't waste your time. Do what you truly love first.
But also her example is living proof that it's okay.
Yeah.
Even if you figure it out later on, you can.
Oh, and definitely, your transition between your two jobs is not going to be smooth. She didn't sugarcoat it. She said, you know, when I switched it, I didn't have anything to do for a bit. I was trying to get into these colleges. It wasn't working. And it's not always going to be the easiest. There's going to be struggles into doing what you truly want to do.
Adding on to that, I feel like one thing that I learned from what she said is because she found a job that she really likes, she didn't find the work like hard and like a pressure on her, and she thought of it as like something she enjoyed doing, and I feel like I really admire that about her.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed is like something you said about like some of our other interviewees, they love their job so much they don't consider a separation between work and life, and I think that was really interesting. But also what she said about her work-life balance is that she's still figuring it out, and that's definitely something that's like okay. And a lot of our interviewees, I think they were in the same boat but trying to convince us that they had it figured out, because they were telling us like, oh, I do this, I do that, and then later they're saying I couldn't manage my time, but now I've gotten there. So definitely people have a lot of issues with work-life balance, but you're gonna get there eventually.
It's a journey, it's a process, right?
Yeah.
There's
You're not always going to have it figured out all at once.
Yeah. And it's going to be different with whatever phase of life you're in.
Alright.
Alright, that was a great interview.
Yeah, that was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
It was definitely.
She was really funny.
Yeah, she was funny.
Alright, bye.
Okay, bye guys.